And one of our features of the day, of course, will be bringing you live all races from South Australia as well as Moonee Valley. We're approaching the third race on the program now. We'll be back to talk about it shortly and also talk about the second race on the program. But at the R. Higgins. Number 3, the Toorak Handicap winner, Salamander, G. Palmer. Number 4, the Freeway Stakes winner, among many other events, Vice Regal, R. Lang. Number 5, the Wait for Age star of the season, so-called B. Thompson. Number 7, the New South Wales top performer, MARCEAU, John Letts. Number 8, the champion mare from New Zealand, La Mare, D. Harris. Number 9, Moonee Valley Stakes winner, Caraman, G. Murphy. Number 10, top 3-year-old, HAUBERK, J. Stocker. Again from Sydney, another top 3-year-old, number 11, Justice Steele, W. Trelaw. Number 12, another 3-year-old who's won his last 2 in great style, FRALO, N. Barrett. And number 13, top filly, Prunella, the rider, M. Broadfoot. There's one scratching, number 6, Lefroy, a field of 12 in the WS Cox Plate, and the race time to start in approximately 7 minutes. Well, that's the scene as the horses go down to the post for the running of the Cox Plate. The 57th running of the race over 2,050 metres. And they start at the top of the straight in this event. They have a run of just over 200 metres to the judges' box and then one complete circuit of the track. The track, we might just take another look at it again. There's the head-on view of the start of the race, the run down to the judges' box, the turn out of the straight with 1,800 metres to go. That first run is so important. They make the turn, which straightens them up again near the 1,600 metre mark. And there's the run down the side of the track, approximately 400 metres before they hit the turn, just before the 1,200 metre mark. There's the plan of the course, the start of the race you can see there. There's the run down to the judges' box on the bottom left-hand corner, and then one complete circuit of the Moonee Valley racetrack. It's a race that's been won by some magnificent horses over the years. And I think in a moment, for the benefit of our friends now in New Zealand who have joined us, I think we might show you the close-up shot that we have now of the Governor's Stakes, the race in which Big Skipper, the New Zealander, put up a great performance to win, coming from near the rear of the field, and got to the front at the top of the straight, but hung in all the way down the straight on Boldness, who had taken the lead about 600 or 700 out. And the jockey on Boldness, A.G. Clark, had difficulty using his whip in the straight, and both he and the trainer, W.H. Walters, lodged a protest against Big Skipper. The winning margin, incidentally, half a head, and this protest was upheld after a reasonably short hearing. Let's have a look at the head-on, which will give you a good idea of how closely they were together. This is the Governor's Stakes, the 4th race in the program. This is the race that replaced the Moonee Valley Cup. Pelican Point, incidentally, was a little bit disappointed in the race. Here it is now. Now, there's Boldness about 2 off the fence, and Big Skipper now. You can see Big Skipper getting right in on top of Boldness, and he has hampered him. He's bumped him quite savagely there. That's twice near the line. That's obviously the thing that made up the steward's mind, that twice in the last 30 metres he has definitely given Boldness a hit, and Boldness actually drew level. There's the shot again. You can see Big Skipper go in on top of him. There he is. He's hit him there, put him out of stride, and he's gone in and done it again. Didham's pulled him away both times, but there's no doubt, I'm sure, that everybody watching that film will agree that they wouldn't have any argument at all with the steward's decision. But right now, let's go down behind the barrier here and have a look at some of these champion horses in the WS Cox Plate. The weather, perfect. The track now good. It's Prunella. Here's MARCEAU in the white colours. Now, that's 2 Panamint in the green. And that's HAUBERK, one of the 3-year-olds. Not the credentials of the others, but he's pretty smart just the same. There's LeMeur over in the corner there on the right-hand side of the picture, behind the stalls. We'll get another look at that. You can see LeMeur there at the back of the stalls. We'll get a close-up of this champion New Zealand mare in a moment. Last year, the race won by Family of Man. Before that, Surround, Fury's Order, Battle Heights, Taj Rossi, Gunsin, Torto, Abdul, Darrell's Joy, Raja Saab. There's LeMeur. She's a great racehorse. She's a 3-year-old. She won 2 Oaks in New Zealand. Last year, she won an invitation stakes, an international stakes, I should say, and 2 cups. Now, LeMeur looking very fit. She's a bit flighty. The connections of LeMeur asked that she be placed last in the stalls, but I don't think this was granted. It's not the procedure. What we do here in Victoria, we divide the field up into half as a rule and start placing them in from 1 out to about 9 and from about 10 out to about 15. I can hear Ron King calling to them. Riders, bring your horses up. We're ready for you now. The big race of the day, shortly to get underway. LeMeur, a warm fancy in the race, and Sub, and Caraman, So-Called, and Panamint considered the big dangers. They're a fit field, a fit lot of horses, great set of jockeys on board, and everything just absolutely so delightful for a magnificent race. Conditions absolutely perfect. The big crowd here at Moonee Valley.
The distinctive styling of the Ford.
LeMeur bobbing her head in 1. Racing. LeMeur got away fairly well. MARCEAU began quickly with HAUBERK, Family of Man, Vice Regal. FRALO showing speed, and Panamint dropped out to last, and So-Called second last. Down to the judge. Caraman's driving through on the rails with LeMeur to join HAUBERK and FRALO 4 deep. Then Family of Man, MARCEAU the fence from Vice Regal, Salamander. 2 lengths to Justice Steel. Panamint on the rails with So-Called and Prunella 4 wide. At the 1600, and LeMeur on the inside, and FRALO the leaders. 2 lengths to HAUBERK, a half Caraman. Vice Regal 3 deep on the outside from Family of Man, and then MARCEAU. They're followed by Prunella, a length to Salamander, and then came Justice Steel 3 deep, and So-Called and Panamint together. There's 8 lengths covering them at the 1300. Here the leader FRALO with LeMeur keeping with it on the fence, and Vice Regal now heading them all off. Then 3 lengths to Caraman and HAUBERK together, followed a length and a half further back by Family of Man and MARCEAU the fence. Then 1 to Prunella. Salamander's lost his position here. Then Panamint on the outside of it came Justice Steel and a half length to So-Called. They've got 1,000 to go, and Vice Regal a half length to LeMeur. 2 lengths to Caraman. FRALO is there but losing ground, passed by HAUBERK. 1 away came MARCEAU. Family of Man starting to sprint forward. So-Called commencing a run around the outside of them with Justice Steel, Salamander, and Panamint couldn't go when they sprinted. His 2 lengths last. Up the side, 700 metres to go, and Prunella took the lead, a length to La Mer. A length further back, third Vice Regal, and then Justice Steel coming into the race quickly. Pushing through now, Caraman. HAUBERK's gone, and here's Family of Man round the outside. They were followed by So-Called commencing a run. Salamander is next, and then Panamint on the turn, and Prunella headed by Justice Steel with Caraman the centre. Family of Man 4 wide, and here's So-Called pushing through. LeMeur's well beaten. Caraman took the lead from Family of Man. So-Called trying to get between them's blocked for room. Family of Man got to the front. So-Called came at it from Caraman. So-Called and Family of Man. So-Called put his head in front, and So-Called's coming away with a Cox Plate. He's won at a length and a half. Close to the minors. Dead heat. Family of Man, Caraman. Panamint got up for 4th from Salamander, LeMeur. Well back, HAUBERK, Prunella, and then Justice Steel, MARCEAU, Vice Regal, and FRALO was last. Official placings for the 1978 WS Cox Plate. Number 5, So-Called, ridden by B. Thompson, was first. Number 5, So-Called, B. Thompson, the winner of the WS Cox Plate. The judges call for a photo for the minor placings to separate Family of Man on the outside and Caraman on the rails. What a wonderful race. The disappointment, of course, was that Le Maire didn't live up to what we expected. But I'm sure there would be a good reason, because that was not the Le Maire that we know. But what a wonderful run down the straight on the turn. We had Caraman, Family of Man outside it, and So-Called desperately trying to get between them. Thompson trying to angle a run on So-Called, that for a few moments there was little room. But he got clear, Caraman weakened, Family of Man fought back, but So-Called proved just too strong on the outside, came away from Family of Man, and then Caraman raised another effort on the inside, the 3-year-old, and he drew dead level with Family of Man as they hit the line. But So-Called has won it by about 2 lengths, near enough to 2 lengths, and rehabilitated himself as the weight for age star that we knew he was. That's his 4th weight for age victory this season. And ladies and gentlemen, that is the 3rd WS Cox Plate win to jockey Brent Thompson. So Brent rode a magnificent race. Number 1 has run second, Family of Man, ridden by H. White. Number 9 has finished third, Caraman, ridden by G. Murphy. The winner, So-Called, raced by Messrs. P.H. Watson, R. Riley, R.S. Banks, H.O. Vine, N.E. Moore and W.G. Chippendall. A bay horse, 4-year-old, by So Big from Calling, trained by Colin Hayes, and giving Brent Thompson his 3rd WS Cox Plate. Second, number 1, Family of Man, H. White. Third, number 9, Caraman, G. Murphy. Officially 4th was number 2, Panamint, and 5th was number 3, Salamander. Well, a wonderful performance, and Brent Thompson, a happy boy. Tote dividends, the winner has paid $2.80 a win and $1.20 a place. Second, $1.05. These are Victorian dividends. And third, also $1.05. $2.80 and $1.20, $1.05 and $1.05. The tote dividends. The time for the race, 2:08.7, and we'll have the correct weight signal shortly. Now, Brent Thompson, he's got a grin all over his face as well, he might have. Harry White having a talk to him. Don't tell me Harry's going to pop one in. They're both leaning there at the moment. No, I don't think so. Press crowding around Brent Thompson there, congratulating him. And I notice we're getting close to an Adelaide race over there. It's just a little bit difficult to see if they're moving into the stalls there yet. But anyway, we've got this. There's the trifecta up now, $208.90, the double $32.90, and of course the Quinella will be delayed because it is a TAB Quinella. And very shortly here on the track we'll have the presentations being made. You can see the tote dividends there. Now that Quinella should read double. There is no Quinella yet. That what you see read on your screen as Quinella is actually the double, on-course double, and the Quinella is to come. Well, it was a wonderful race. We thought the Governor Stakes was a magnificent race, and so it was, but this was equally as thrilling. And let's see, I think Keith Hillier has Brent Thompson now. Right, take it away, Keith.
Brent Thompson, 3 rides in the Cox Plate for 3 wins. Well, what can you say?
It's unbelievable, Keith.
Brent, had you lost faith in So-Called, the beaten Caulfield Cup favourite?
Well, I suppose, you know, when a horse runs a bad race, you know, you always wonder about him. But he proved today that there's nothing wrong with him at all by winning the greatest weight for age race in the Southern Hemisphere. I
suppose, Brent, it would be fair to say that you've been criticised at your past 2 rides on So-Called. Today's win was just what you needed to lift your spirits.
Well, you know, we've had a bit of a run of outs lately. You know, it's fair enough to be criticised for the Turnbull Stakes. Caulfield Cup was one of those races where you're a victim of circumstances. You're trapped wide and you get knocked out of the race, and you know, there's nothing you can do about those sort of things.
Your first Cox Stakes win was on Fury's Order. You won it last year on Family of Man. Is so-called a better horse than the two you'd won on previously?
Well, I've always regarded Family of Man as one of the best horses I've ever ridden. Fury's Order was also a great horse, and this horse here, well, he's proved this time up. He's won every rate for age races he started, and I think he's probably one of the greatest horses I've ever been on.
Well, most of us today plump for the New Zealand racehorse, Le Maire. We should have gone for the New Zealand jockey.
Oh, well, you know, it's great to win two of them, but today I thought, you know, I'm only hoping to win it.
Brent Thompson, can I finally say a magnificent ride from a great young jockey?
Thank you, Keith. Brent, can I have you?
Well, that was Brent Thompson, the winning rider. The presentation shortly. BTQ, would you please check your local results? Now let's go to Adelaide.
In hand, and they stand set to go, waiting on the light. Have it any moment from now. Light on for the Harbour graduation, set to go, and they're racing. Appeared to be a fairly good break, and Princess Mikado didn't begin brilliantly. Fleur de Moor began well from Mission Time, and Better Brick showing pace out wide from Proud Double Privilege, rather. They're followed further back in the field into Tiger Lynn, Alamana next, and they're followed by, at the head of the others, With a Mission. Over on the outside there, Yellowtail Lazar, and they're followed by Pretty Marie, well back Eloquent Star, and back at the rear is Nalatna. Racing up now, Better Brick the leader with 500 to go from Princess Mikado, getting up behind it, Fiorellino on the outside of it, Double Privilege next from Golden Talus, and then Bell of Eden from Tiger Lynn, Fleur de Moor on the fence, and then wider out in the field then to Trooper Tiller, and further back in the field to Golden Talus, and well back Eloquent Star with Yellowtail Lazar, but Better Brick in front in the straight now. Princess Mikado trying to pick it up now. Better Brick the leader by a length and a half to Princess Mikado, Fiorellino third, but Better Brick holding on to its lead, and it's going to win, I should say. Better Brick going down the line. Princess Mikado can't get it, and Better Brick's won at a length, right on a length to Princess Mikado. Fiorellino third, Golden Talus fourth, and then came Double Privilege. They were followed by Alamana from Fleur de Moor, wider out on the track, Double Privilege, Tiger Lynn, Pretty Marie, then Trooper Tiller, Eloquent Star, further back Yellowtail Lazar with a Mission next, and back at the rear then was Nalatna. Better Brick, good performance from barrier 15. Had to go very fast, but was able to go fast enough to head them all off there. I should say the second one has missed the start by a little bit. The favourite, Princess Mikado, and that hasn't helped very much. It's raced up behind the leader, Better Brick, on the turn, but could do no better in the straight. Number 1, Better Brick, ridden by R. Woods, was first. Number 13 is second, Princess Mikado, ridden by A. Matthews. 11 is third, Fiorellino, ridden by R. Lloyd. The official fourth going to number 4, Golden Talus, ridden by W. Minear. And fifth placing to number 2, Double Privilege, ridden by B. Bradley. The winner...
Some people chase for it. Some people race for it. Some people stole for it. Some people haul for it. Some people crew for it. Some people shoot for it. Some people sing for it.
The presentation is about to take place. Chairman of the Moonee Valley Racing Club, Mr. Bill Stutt, at the microphone. Immediately behind him, Chief Exec Ian McEwen, and then the Governor of Victoria, Sir Henry Winnicky, Colin Hayes next to him, and then Brent Thompson in his colours still, and then the part owners of the horse. Let's take it down to Bill Stutt to introduce Sir Henry Winnicky.
Winning trainer and the winning jockey. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a great pleasure and a great privilege to have been invited to present the trophies for this great classic Australian race. I think it's really an historic day here today. For one thing, this is the first occasion on which there's been a direct national telecast of a meeting, and it's wonderful to think that people all over Australia can see us here in Melbourne on this lovely course and on this wonderful day. Secondly, of course, the WS Cox Plate is the greatest and richest weight for age race in the Southern Hemisphere. It's a race that's designed, obviously, to find a champion. And that's exactly what we found again today. It was undoubtedly a star-studded field, magnificent race, and on behalf of you all, it gives me wonderful pleasure to give our congratulations to the owners and to the trainer and to the rider, particularly to the rider because this is his third WS Cox Plate. It was a wonderful effort. And last but by no means least, all our congratulations to a very wonderful horse. It now gives me great pleasure to present the trophies. And first to Mr. Watson on behalf of the 5 partners. Many congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
What's that?
Sure, sir. Your Excellency, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of my fellow owners, it gives me great pleasure to receive this very historic trophy. And in doing so, I came over to Colin Hayes. I give him a lot of credit for the temperament of the horse. I think the only thing he didn't do was play polo on him. To Colin Hayes, our trainer, what a wonderful job he's done with the horse. Brought him along from a late 2-year-old. Won the classics here and this great race today. Thank you, Colin. It's been wonderful to have you train the horse for us. And finally, of course, to Brent Thompson, another New Zealander who liked the horse, or half the horse. He's had a few outs lately. I've never lost faith in Brent. He's a great little rider. Thank you, Brent, for a great ride today. Thank you.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, the inimitable trainer, Colin Hayes. Colin, congratulations on again.
Sir Henry, Mr. Stutt, members of the committee, ladies and gentlemen. I'd just like to thank Mr. Watson and his fellow owners for giving me the opportunity of training such a great horse, and congratulate Brent Thompson on the wonderful job he's done, and also the lots of people that have helped me get him ready, from the staff at Lindsay Park and the staff at Flemington. They've all done an excellent job, every one of them, and I'm very grateful to them, and I'm very relieved to see the horse come right again. Thank you.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, for the Cox Plate specialist rider, Brent Thompson. Congratulations, Brent.
Sir Henry Winnicky, members of the Moonee Valley Racing Club, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Can't express how great a thrill it is today to win this race for the 3rd time, but I can only thank the owners, who are a great bunch of blokes. Also to Mr. Hayes, just give me a great opportunity over here. Also to staff at Lindsay Park, and also in Melbourne, and Kevin Ryan, the foreman. They've all done a great job, and I'd just like to thank them sincerely. Thank you.
Here it is, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Of owners. A very happy jockey, a wonderful ride by Brent Thompson today. I was one of those who criticised him quite severely for his ride in the Turnbull Stakes. But Brent, he's only a young fella. Hasn't turned 21 yet, I don't think. He took it like a real man. He knows when he makes mistakes. And the big thing about it, he's got the gumption to accept it and to profit from it. And he showed just how he has profited from it by a magnificent ride in the WS Cox Plate. So there they are, Colin Hayes on the left, Sir Henry Winnicky, Brent Thompson, and some of the owners of this champion weight for age star, so-called. We'll be back shortly to have a look at the full running of the race, and then also the Governor's Stakes at Moonee Valley on Cox Plate Day. Now, the last 4 moving up here, just the boy the favourite, but they've backed quite a few horses to beat it. Arbrachane has gone in. Comic Cobbler comes towards its position. Goes up with the clerk of the course and is ready. Art Treasure now moving up towards stall 7. And the South Australian Parvo comes up to 14. And they're all ready for the last race on the program on Cox Plate Day 1978. The light is on, the starter's on his platform. Racing. Near the inside, Just a Boy, one of the first out. From getting away well is Bonfield today, and Private Talk up there. Minuetto holding her place, and Euclidean racing around them with Arbor Shane from Parvo. Then Art Treasure, Dandelieth dropping back from Amicus Amico, and then Near Gem, Comic Cobbler last with El Palada. Round the 1,300 metre turn, Euclidean led a length and a half. Just a Boy, he's got to the rails on the favourite. Half a length to Arbor Shane, and then a length further back, Minuetto, Bellavino, Private Talk, 3 deep, 2 to Parvo, Art Treasure. Then 2 to Bonfield, a length and a half, Amicus Amico from Near Gem. They were followed then further back in the field by Dandelieth. Next El Palada and Comic Cobbler last at the 900. Euclidean led about a length, but Challengers coming quickly round the outside with Arbor Shane moving up to join this leader now, and also Bellavino. Just a Boy pulling a length and a half away. Minuetto the rails. Private Talk being sent forward, a length to Parvo coming into the picture. They're followed by El Palada. Bonfield's rider now getting stuck right into it from Art Treasure. Up by the 600, about 4 or 5 in line, and Just a Boy let go and took the lead. In second placing now is Arbor Shane, sticking with him, and out wider Parvo coming home hard from Private Talk. They're followed by Euclidean and Bonfield looking for a run. On the turn, Arbor Shane got to Just a Boy again with Parvo just behind them. Swinging for home, Minuetto was next. It's Arbor Shane getting a neck in front of Just a Boy. They're clear of Parvo, Bonfield and Minuetto. It's Arbor Shane and Just a Boy stride for stride with Bonfield and Minuetto picking them up. Just a Boy got to the lead. Minuetto trying to get to it from Arbor Shane, but Just a Boy in front and wins. Just a Boy by a neck to Arbor Shane, a neck to Minuetto third. Flashing home Art Treasure fourth from Bonfield, Amicus Amico. Dandelieth flew home at the head of the others from Comic Cobbler, Euclidean. Parvo stopped badly near the line from El Palada, Private Talk, Near Gem, and last to finish in the field is Bellavino. Official placings for the final event, the Phoenix Handicap. Number 5, Just a Boy, ridden by H. White, was first. Number 5, Just a Boy, H. White is first. The judge has called for a photo for the minor placings to separate number 7, Arbor Shane, on the inside, and number 6, Minuetto, on the outside. And that's the way I think you'll find they're finished. Just a Boy bolted coming up to the 600 metre mark. He was travelling well, and they started to make runs, started to try and come around him, and Harry White said, well, I'm not going to get into trouble, this is going too well. You could almost see it pass through his mind. He let it go, he dashed to the lead, and then Arbor Shane went with it. In fact, Arbor Shane headed it as they turned for home, but Just a Boy gradually got the upper hand, and then Minuetto and Bonfield put in strong runs. Bonfield couldn't sustain his. Minuetto kept going, but the post was too close, and Just a Boy has scored narrowly but well. And a photo for the minors, Arbor Shane to get second placing, number 7 I would say, and number 6 Minuetto to run third. That's the way I see the minor placings, but Just a Boy has won the final event on the program, and would probably send punters home perhaps on a winning note, as it was very strongly fancied in the last race. Its form had been good. Second placing has gone to number 7, Arbor Shane, ridden by W. Robinson. And third, number 6, Minuetto, ridden by B. Thompson. So it's Just a Boy first, Arbor Shane second, and Minuetto third in the final event on the program at Moonee Valley today. So all we need now is the tote dividends here in the last race on the program. Just a Boy, ridden by Harry White, scored well. He's won the last 2 races today, Harry, on the judge and Just a Boy. They've both been favourites. At least I presume Just a Boy finished favourite in the event. He was a clear favourite on the tote, so he's the punter's pin-up boy here today at Moonee Valley. Just a Boy from New South Wales ran a great race, I think 4th in the Epsom, and then he followed that up with a good 4th in the Turek Handicap, and he was in front just a few strides from the line in that race, or well, let me say 50 or 60 metres from the line, and ran 4th in it. And he was looked on as a really good thing here today when we had the slow track, because he's exceptionally good on rain-affected tracks, but possibly a few people might have just eased off him slightly when the track was altered to good after about the 3rd race on the program. Now, the tote dividends in the last race. Jester Boys paid $1.60 for a win, 90 a place. Second, Arbor Shane has paid $1.10, and third, Minuetto has also paid $1.10. So it's at $1.60 and 90 Jester Boy, $1.10 Arbor Shane, $1.10 Minuetto. No Prunella yet. The forecast $10.40.